Hey everybody, today we are talking about The Christmas Swap by Talia Samuels. The Christmas Swap is a romance story about a girl named Margot and a girl named Ellie, as well as her brother Ben. The story starts with Ben hiring Margot to help with the marketing and social media aspect of his business. And one of the first things that they do is they go to a party. She's invited to like a work party, and Ben doesn't know her super well yet, but decides to ask her kind of a big question after getting to know her a little bit at this party. And the question being if she will go to his house and stay there over the Christmas break and pretend to be his girlfriend. Now, of course, Ben has a good reason for wanting somebody to act as a fake girlfriend for him. His family just always is getting together during Christmas, and he's the only one that's not a couple. And he just always feels this pressure to be perfect from his parents, and so he wants to change things this year and have a partner for Christmas. Margot just recently got out of a relationship and is free to be able to do this, doesn't have any real plans for Christmas, and so decides that this is fine. One thing to note, of course, is that Margot is a lesbian, and so pretending to date a boy is a little different than her usual scene, and so she has to pretend and be comfortable enough to be cozy around him to make it believable once the family shows up. So she still agrees to do this, and they go off to this big like manor that he has that the family owns, that they actually use as a hotel during the regular season. But during the Christmas season, they take like 2 weeks off just to be able to use the hotel for family, and so they don't take any people in during the end of the year. So essentially we've got this story where we have these two people pretending to be in a relationship. We learn a lot of their past relationships through this fake relationship, and of course we also have Ellie, who is Ben's sister, who's also lesbian and who also is free and single. And so you could probably see where this is going, because I feel like a lot of romance novels are pretty predictable, at least the ones that I've read, which isn't too many recently, but still they seem like you kind of can tell where things are going. And yes, you probably guessed it already, Ellie and Margot start to fall for each other, and of course Ellie tries to ignore this because she gets rubbed the wrong way with Margot right away, feels like something's up, doesn't know exactly what it is, but just has this feeling that something is fake about her. So, which is, you know, obviously the whole relationship thing. And so she kind of sees through that, and she's trying to like get proof, like solid proof to be able to take to her brother to say why she doesn't think that Margot's in this relationship for the right reasons. And basically that only lasts for probably less than half of the book before Ellie discovers Margot's true intentions and the truth, and she actually learns it from Ben because she does go to confront him about it, and he thinks it's kind of funny what the reasons that she came up with, but he explains everything to her, and all is well again, kind of, because then she has to go confront Margot and tell her the truth of what she was feeling, and then Margot is able to tell her true feelings about what she thinks about Ellie. And so then we kind of have the whole idea of the Christmas swap. Now the two of them kind of start seeing each other a little bit, which is very risky, because what if someone in the family sees them hanging out together and is like, why are you guys hanging out so much, when, you know, like, it might be a little suspicious. We continue through the story like this, and of course there's a big climactic moment where certain things start to kind of fall apart, certain secrets might not be able to be kept anymore, a falling out happens, and then a resolution needs to happen. All the common things of a story like this. There are quite a few misunderstandings in this book because Ellie overhears a lot of things and jumps to conclusions, so we do have a lot of miscommunication going on, and which causes a lot of the tension when there is tension. However, there's not really too much tension in the book, but yeah, definitely a lot of misleading ideas and things like that. There is also a relationship it's a past relationship, so it's not currently going on, but it is mentioned about how this relationship wasn't very healthy, and one of the characters realizes that it is probably could be categorized as emotional abusive, and she doesn't really understand that that's what it was when she was going through it, but we do get quite a lot of backstory on her past relationship and why it could be considered that. As I said, it's from the past relationships. So there are a few moments where it touches on that as well, and I think that's just to try to show some character development and some character growth for this particular character to realize the kind of relationship that she was in previously and how to be able to move on from it or cope from it and not let it affect any future relationships. In comparison to other romance novels that I have read recently, I do think that the writing is really well done in here. It's a lot better than some of the other books I was trying to read lately. Just like the writing style in general, I liked this better than some of the other books. There was less repetitiveness in the types of phrases and wordings used. For example, like with Pumpkin Spice Cafe, that one just had a lot of kind of the same wording that I kind of got tired of reading after a while, and this book didn't really have any of that. The setting's also really nice. It's Christmas time. That's why I wanted to read this, of course, right now. It is in this nice, romantic manner, like a really good chill setting where you can just relax and not worry about things so much. It's starting to snow. There's ice skating involved at one point. There's a lot of just very cozy Christmas type settings that I really enjoyed reading right now around this time. I also really wanted to read a book that was for the LGBTQ plus community. The cover intrigued me right away. I really wanted to read it just by looking at. I went to Libby immediately when I saw it in Barnes & Noble. Like, I want to read that over Christmas, and luckily I was able to get my hands on it just in time to read it. In comparison to other romances that I've read recently, I liked it. There are some problematic things with it in terms of like how the characters treat each other, how everything happens so fast, which might seem unrealistic, but then again, they are sharing a house for like 2 weeks straight, so it kind of makes sense that things can go faster when you're like with someone like 24/7 versus going on a date, going back to your own house, and then seeing them the next day. Like, it's a little different. And of course, we have the whole Ben situation where he needs Margot to be his fake girlfriend, and what's gonna happen if she starts falling for his sister. Like, how's that gonna work out? How's the family gonna react when they realize that like something's not true from what they were told about this Margot person? And so there's a lot of things that I feel like maybe they happen a little too perfectly. Maybe there are some cheesy moments in there that might not seem as realistic, or maybe some reactions in there that would be a little different in a regular situation. But to me, I feel like most of this was fairly realistic. As far as romance goes, there's always going to be a little bit of cheese in there. There's always going to be a little bit of like realistic questioning and doubt, reasonable doubt of like if this is really something that would happen, but it didn't bother me as much in this one. And I really think that has to do with the writing. I think the writing just made it so that if there was a part that's like, okay, that's a little cheesy, it came across in a way that was written to where it didn't feel too cheesy. So I appreciated that. So overall, I enjoyed it. I'm not like, looking at this book too critically, because I have never read this author before, and I just wanted to read something that was, a vibey, Christmassy kind of vibe thing. And so this hit the marks for what I was looking for. And so if you don't read a lot of romance and you dabble in it a little bit like I do, then I think that you would like this. Based on the things that I mentioned, if those things don't bother you, if the idea of a swap of relationships, characters, and things like that doesn't bother you, then I think you would like this story. But anyways, if you have read this Christmas romance, then please let me know what your thoughts were on it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.